Well begun is half done. Aristotle said, I'm sure your RBI Grade B preparation is going good. Hello everyone, my name is Chandraprakash Joshi. Starting this important series of 300 questions, important questions for RBI Grade B 2022. Previously, you must have seen the testimonials of so many selected students, how much benefit they got from this 300 question series, because in the answer explanations, one question contains 3-4 questions. The first question here on your screen, which of the following statements are correct about RBI Monetary Policy Review of May 2022? You must have gone through the video that was also there on our channel. So tell me, MPC voted unanimously to increase the policy repo rate by 40 bps to 4.40. Monetary policy stance is changed from accommodative to neutral, and CRR SLR increased by 50 bps. A is correct, B and C are incorrect because the policy stance is still accommodative. And this was an off-cycle meeting, bi-monthly meeting of monetary policy. There are 6 meetings in a year. The last normal meeting held in April. But May, RBI thought that before Fed Reserve increases the rate, RBI needs to take an action to control the inflation, which has crossed the 6% limit of the inflation given to RBI. What is the limit? 4% plus minus 2, which ranges from 2% to 6%. So that is the mandate given to RBI, 4% plus minus 2%. And in this meeting, RBI increased the repo rate by 40 bps. Is there any change in SDF? And what is SDF, by the way? Standing Deposit Facility. Also, you need to know the reverse repo rate, the marginal standing facility rate, and the bank rate. And do you still remember what is the policy corridor? You may comment on all these in the comment section, and you need to go to these videos to understand these concepts of marginal standing facility or standing deposit facility. We upload this KYC series video. Know your concept. Concepts are very, very important if you want to crack the exam. In this MPC review, accommodative stance is continued, but the focus is on withdrawal of the accommodation. Withdrawal of accommodation. Accommodation means actually when RBI for last more than 2 years was trying to give more liquidity in the market by reducing the CRR, SLR, and by reducing the interest rate. RBI was trying to increase the money supply, and that is what all central banks globally have been doing to fight the economic slowdown, which has been caused primarily by the COVID. But now there has been excess money supply in the market and inflation has increased. So to contain the inflation while supporting the growth, repo has been increased by 40 bps and CRR is increased by 50 bps to 4.5, not SLR. The CRR is effective from May 21st. CRR is the amount of cash. Cash means they have to keep the money with RBI in their respective account, whereas SLR is the amount of the money banks have to invest in government securities or other securities approved by RBI for SLR purpose. With this 50 bps, half a percentage increase, 87,000 crore rupees of the money is going out of the market. That is the withdrawal of the liquidity, if you understand this concept rightly. And this percentage is always calculated as a base of NDTL, net demand and time liability. There is no change in SLR. That is what I said. In this video, if you want to go into this detail, how this 40 bps increase in the repo is going to affect and why RBI did it just before the Fed Reserve, what is the impact of this on LIC IPO, Sushil sir has explained more in detail. Please go to that video. You will understand it much better. Coming to the second question, FPI remained net seller. Foreign portfolio investors have been net seller for last 7 months. Another 6,400 crore was pulled out from the equity market of India when RBI and US Fed reserved the interest rate. So next day US Fed also reserved their interest rate by half a percentage point. Which of the following statement regarding foreign investment is false? FPI refers to the investment made in securities and other financial assets issued in another country. Correct. FDI is an investment made by a firm or individual in one country into business interest located in another country. This is also correct, and I hope that you understand the difference between FPI and FDI. I am going to tell you after this in the answer. Foreign portfolio investors are considered passive investors because what they do, they invest in the portfolio says Google has taken the Reliance, but they are not going to manage the day-to-day operations of the Reliance. While FDI investors are considered active investors. Active means they manage the company where they are investing. Say for example, tomorrow Tesla starts their manufacturing in India, or already Volkswagen has a manufacturing unit in India, Hyundai has a manufacturing unit in India. So when they establish that unit, that is called foreign direct investment. That's why they are active investors. This is also correct. Nations with a high level of FDI can encounter heightened market volatility and currency turmoil. This happens in case of the higher PI, portfolio investment, not in case of FDI, because FDI is a longer term investment. Suppose a company has set up a factory in another country, or they have invested in a company by buying out a larger stake. They are managing that. So that's why FDI is an investment. Understand this definition: made by a firm of individual in one country into business interest located in another country, whereas FPI is investment made in securities and other financial assets. So this FPI is primarily related to the financing part, means shares, bonds, or any other instrument of that company has been bought. There is no involvement in the operations. Both are called foreign investment and important for global trade and development. However, FDI is considered preferred more because it is less volatile. And FDI investors typically take a controlling position in domestic firms. And as I said, FPI investors are normally passive investors who are not active in the day-to-day operations. And FDI investors cannot easily liquidate their assets. They cannot easily depart from the nations because their assets are very large and illiquid. Say for example, setting up a factory. Today iPhone is getting manufactured in India, so they have set up a factory. That's why these assets are, FDI assets are not very liquid, while FPI assets are very liquid, and FPI investment are considered as volatile. Some foreign company or foreign investor has bought the securities in our share market or our debt market. They can sell it next day and create the volatility in the market. That's why it is called hot money. The hot money has come into the country, and more hot money comes in the country, RBI has to ensure that there is adequate foreign reserve to tackle that situation. Now the foreign money is going. Next question. India has entered into Amrit Kaal, the 25-year-long lead up to India at the rate of 100. During the Amrit Kaal, the government aims to attain some vision. Whether the following is not part of that vision: promoting digital literacy, fintech, technology-enabled development, energy transmission and climate action. That is there. Relying on virtuous cycle, starting from private investment with public capital investment, helping to crowd in private investment. This is also correct. Complementing the macroeconomic level growth focus with microeconomic level all-inclusive welfare focus. All are correct. So none of this is wrong. Understand what is the question here, and in this kind of option, if you understand that if any one of these B or C as per you are part of this vision, and these are very broad statement, so you won't take a chance of marking answer only A, B or C or this or none of the above. Nobody is going, or D, therefore none of the above is going to be the answer. If you just understand and use the option elimination method, this becomes easy. And this Amrit Kaal was first used, the term was first used by PM Narendra Modi in 2021, that is celebrating the 75th Independence Day. And the purpose of Amrit Kaal was to improve the lives of citizens of India, lessen the divide in development between villages and cities, reduce the government interference in people's lives, less government for more governance. That is what our PM always says, and welcome the latest technology. Finance Minister has been referring to this in the Union Budget, Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, and she said that we have entered into Amrit Kaal, the 25-year-long led up to India at the rate 100. Amrit Kaal. Fourth question: in the Union Budget 2022 speech, Finance Minister Sitaraman announced that Reserve Bank of India will launch own digital rupee in the new financial year. Which of the following statement is or are correct about this? So this digital currency is going to be called as RBI digital currency. Do you remember the name given to it? And RBI Act will be amended to include the issuance of digital rupee. The digital rupee will be considered as a legal tender but would be exchangeable only with digital rupee. This logically looks incorrect. So A and C both are incorrect because the name given to this is Central Bank Digital Currency CBDC. RBI moved a proposal in October 2021 to amend the RBI Act so as to widen the definition of the banknote. As of today, the preamble of RBI, if you become RBI Grade B officer, you will actually remember this preamble. It is asked often here and there. Every RBI person shall know. It is like the constitution of the India for us. The constitution has a preamble. So all the things in RBI goes around this preamble. The preamble today is regulate the issue of banknote and keeping the reserve with a view to secure monetary stability of India and generally to operate the currency and credit system of the country to its advantage. So this has to be included the digital currency here because the legal tender issued by central bank CBDC is going to be in the digital form and this is the same fiat currency exchangeable 1-to-1 with any fiat currency, only the form is different. So once it comes, you can exchange with the banknote or the money in your account. It is not like that. It can only be exchanged with the other digital currency. So because it is going to be as good as any legal tender. Effective from May 1, retail investor can invest up to what amount in IPO using the UPI based ASBA process. And what is ASBA? Another exam question. As I said, in one question there are multiple questions which can be created. The correct answer here is 5 lakh rupees is the limit, and ASBA is application supported by blocked account. Actually, RBI in December 21 it enhanced the limit of ASBA from 2 lakh to 5 lakh. This is the UPI based system, and now SEBI has also on the similar line, they said that retail investor can now use UPI to place bids up to 5 lakh rupees in IPO, and this is going to be applicable from May 1st. A microfinance loan. What is a microfinance loan as per the definition given by RBI? So microfinance loans are given to household having an annual household income of not exceeding dash dash dash. And when we say household income, it means income of the husband, wife, and unmarried children. What is the correct answer? It is 3 lakh. And microfinance loans are collateral free loan. Actually, this word also you will find here, social collateral. So because group guarantee is the thing which works here. You have this SHG self-help group and JLG joint liability group based loan. In this, group members give the guarantee of the other person. That's why here the collateral becomes the social collateral, the guarantee given by the other member. And the loan eligibility requires that you shall be in an income group which is below 3 lakh rupees annual income of the family. So this is primarily given to the poor people who cannot afford to provide any collateral. Microfinance is a big enabler for eradicating poverty and also women empowerment because more than 97-98% of the borrowers are women borrowers. Okay, IRDI. Next question. IRDI is the regulator of the insurance sector in India. You must be knowing this. It's a board consists of 10 members including the chairperson. So 5 are full-time members and 4 part-time members. You see how much information is coming in the question. Question is who has been appointed as the chairperson of IRDI. So 10 people, 5 full-time directors, 4 part-time members, 1 chairman. Who is the current chairman? Answer is Devashish Panda. Mr. Devashish Panda is an IS officer, retired from DFS Department of Financial Services, Ministry of Finance. And this post has been vacant for about a year because last year when Subhash Chandra Untia he got retired, after that this post was vacant. His appointment is there for 3 years. All these details also you shall remember. About the important appointment. Next one, which of the following statement about the sustainable development goal is true? Learn all the SDGs. I will tell you the most important one also. SDGs. The options here are, you have to read this statement, and these type of questions sometimes become tough, sometimes become easy depending on the answer options. So spend time in all this, especially in phase 1. GA, you have enough time. SDGs are a set of 17 pointer targets that all the countries which are members of the UN agree to work upon for the betterment of the future of the country. Yes, this is correct. There are 17. One of the major drawback of SDGs are it rarely talks about climate change. Even if by simple logic, I cannot believe that anything which is coming from top-notch organization about the sustainability is missing climate change. This is going to be the wrong. Goal 4 ensures inclusive and equitable quality education and promote lifelong learning opportunities for all. Therefore, the answer is first and third. Both of these statements are true. This thing is not correct because if you go through these 17 goals, you will find goal 13 talks about climate action. Remember goal 1, no poverty. Actually, you have to remember all 17, but the most important first is no poverty, eradicating poverty. Second is zero hunger, nobody shall be hungry. Then health and education, gender equality, water, clean energy. So in this sequence, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, importance, and all 17 you shall remember, but the 17th one is very interesting because it is not a new goal, it is rather partnerships for the goal. So it is saying partnerships required for attaining these goals. There are total 17 goals having 169 targets, 304 indicators to be achieved by 2030. This is another exam question, and these are proposed by United Nations General Assembly. This is the question we have about goal 4 and goal 3. Goal 13, we discuss which of the following expenditure is not regarded as capital expenditure. This is a static knowledge question. So capital expenditure, acquisition of land, yes, this is capital expenditure. Development of machinery, it is also. Creation of building asset is also capital expenditure. Payment of salary is not. So this is the right answer. Creation of health facilities also is capital expenditure. The money is spent by government on the acquisition and development or development of machinery, building, health facilities, education facilities is called capital expenditure. Capital expenditure actually helps in creating long-term assets to improve the economy, to improve the betterment in longer terms. Unlike a revenue expenditure, which is like running the show today. So payment of salary, say this month's salary has to be paid, it has less long-term implications if you compare with say building dams, building roads, building colleges. The next question is FDI in telecom sector under automatic route is what percent? Under automatic route, answer is 100% is allowed. Now under automatic route, earlier 100% FDI was allowed, of which 49% was permitted through automatic route. But this is the change here. Bank depositors can get up to 5 lakh refund under DICGC insurance within how many days? You have to know what is DICGC full form. It is an RBI owned institution. The answer to this is 90 days. DICGC is Deposit Insurance Credit Guarantee Corporation. The act of setting up of DICGC was passed in 1961, but it started working from 1st January 1962. So when the question comes when the DICGC was established, you be careful whether it is asking about the act or when it started functioning, that is in 1962. The function of DICGC is to ensure the deposit and credit guarantee, guaranteeing the credit. As of today, your deposit in any bank up to 5 lakh rupees is insured with DICGC. So if any bank go bust, a bank is failed, within 90 days you are going to get your money back. First 45 days are given to DICGC for collecting the data, who is the actual claimant of the deposit in the bank, and next 45 days DICGC has to give that deposit back to the depositor. New education policy aims gross enrollment ratio of what by which year? So gross enrollment ratio of higher education I am asking here. These are 5 options you have, but as I keep on saying, in the answer you have to know other things also. So here the answer for higher education is By 2035, 50% gross enrollment ratio is the aim in the new education policy, but NEP is also aiming for other things. Important one are 100% gross enrollment in school education by 2030. See the difference in the year also. Here it is 2030. NEP will bring 2 crore students out of the 2 crore those students those who are out of the school back to them to the mainstream schooling. Separate targets, separate years. What is the difference between M1 and M3? Again, a static knowledge question, useful for both phase 1 and phase 2. The time deposit with the bank. So M3, which is also called broad money because it includes your M1 plus time deposit with the bank. So first understand what is M1. You have to go to the book also, and I have prepared other videos where I have explained more in detail. M1 is currency. Currency includes your coin definitely, demand deposit and other deposits. But when you add time deposits also, so M2 and M4 are in between, because normally you will find in many of the textbook, because this post office deposit is not an international phenomenon. That is not there in many countries. So M1 and M3 are mostly talked about. Narrow money and broad money. M1 is narrow. In broad money, time deposits are also considered, and then you can think of M2 and M4 where you have to include the post office deposit. So in M2 the post office saving bank deposit are added, and in M4 post office term deposits are added. So when the question comes, the difference between M1 and M3, this is the term deposit. If you don't understand term deposit, fixed deposit, which has a timeline. Demand deposits are the money lying in the current account and saving account. Which of the following is not part of forex reserve? Many times I have discussed this, because RBI keep on publishing forex detail, I think on fortnightly basis. The answer here is silver, because gold, SDR, special drawing rights, reserve tranche with IMF, all are included along with foreign currency assets, but silver or any other metal other than the gold is not there. Every company is seeking registration as NBFC Factor. It's a category of NBFCs. How many categories of NBFCs are there? So some assignment I keep on giving you. Don't think that everything I can tell you in one video. RBI Grade B is not going to be an easy exam to crack. You have to study, but if you study well, can crack. Ultimately, average people only crack this exam. So NBFC Factor shall have a minimum net owned fund of what, as specified by RBI? Answer is 5 crore. 5 crore is the minimum annual net owned fund as specified by RBI. NBFCs we can classify like deposit accepting, non-deposit accepting. Then on the basis of activity, we can classify asset finance company, loan company, mortgage guarantee company, investment company, core investment company, infrastructure finance company, microfinance company, and housing finance companies. I am coming to the next question. Which category of the products accounts for the highest number of GI tax at global level? Global level, if you have read it India, so please remember here the question is asking global level, and you won't be able to guess it. Try to guess if you don't know the answer, because the answer is wines and spirit, and I would have guessed agriculture, but because wines and spirits are a bigger business. Agriculture, of course, the variety has to be more, but these businesses are owned by farmers, while wines and spirits are owned by bigger companies. So these are bigger businesses. They must have applied for more GI tax, because the idea in GI tax is to protect the IP. Intellectual property rights are protected, which is given as a sign of particular product from defining from definite geographical origin and assure about its exclusive quality. GI in force relating to wines and spirits account for 56%, almost 57% of the global, followed by agriculture product, which is 34%. Rest is then major one, handicraft around 3.5%. What does I stand for in SVAMITVA scheme? What is the full form of SVAMITVA scheme? Is this survey of villages and mapping with improvised technology in village areas. So improvised becomes the answer. That scheme helps to provide rural people with the right to document their residential properties so that they can use property for economic purpose. This scheme is in collaborative effort of Ministry of Panchayati Raj, State Panchayati Raj Department, State Revenue Department. In April 22, the GST collections scaled to a all-time high of 1.68 lakh crore. One of the important reason was the better compliance. Filing percentage of GSTR 3B was 84.7% compared to 78.3% in April month. What does GSTR 3B form relate to? The correct answer here is it is related to GST monthly return. So it's a self-declaration to be filed with GST, and it has to be filed by GST dealer along with GSTR 1 and 2 return. It gives summarized detail of the outward supplies made, input tax credit claimed, and the tax liability ascertained. All details are captured here, and you need to understand what is the importance of input tax credit. As per the World Economic Outlook April 2022, the GDP of India is expected to grow 8.2%, down from 9% projected earlier. Who publishes this? World Economic Outlook, a very important publication. You have to know the important publication by World Bank, IMF. Here the answer is IMF, and this document is published twice in a year. Survey of global economic progress and forecast of near and medium term, including forecast of inflation and real GDP growth. So as per this, the global GDP is expected to grow 3.6% in 2022. And when IMF or any international organization they say any economic data number, so it is always a calendar year. So when they say 2022, it means January to December 2022. Only in India and few countries we follow this April to March financial year. So India's growth has been projected to 8.2%, and for 23 it is projected to 6.9%. Remember these numbers also sometime asked in the exam. The price of the sovereign gold bond is fixed. This is the last question, and you have to answer this question. I will discuss in the next video. The sovereign gold bond price is fixed in Indian rupees based on simple average of the closing price of 999 purity gold of how many days. Write your answer in the comment, and if you have anything more to ask, feel free to write that also. Along with these questions, I ask you to attempt all mock tests, high quality mock tests. As Aristotle says, we are what we repeatedly do. Excellence then is not an act but a habit. Develop this habit of practicing better and better questions. You will excel. Subscribe to the channel if you have not done yet, and any questions you can ask to us at 9055240228, SMS, WhatsApp or call, or you can write to us at hello@ixamBee.com. Thanks for watching the video. Your suggestions are most welcome.